Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Alpha Acces. In today's episode, I'll be going over the new progression path for those of you just starting out in closed beta, and for fellow alpha testers who have come back to check out the changes. Stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome back. Alpha has ended sadly, but closed beta has just started back up. And for those of you who are brand new to the game, I wanted to recap this getting started video. I did one for Alpha, but the progression system has changed quite a bit. So even if you were a Trailblazer and a part of the Alpha, and you've been away for a while, I want to just do a quick update here on some of the new progression paths. If you head on over to the forums, Dave Georgeson has posted a quick little how-to guide on getting started. So let's take a look. Okay guys, so the first thing you're going to want to do is run on over to the Spire. And even if you were a part of the Alpha, the Spire has changed a little bit. Before we used to just have this basic forge here. But now we've also got this guy, the basic workshop, as well as a mailbox. And this has also been added over here, this chest for those of you who are founders. For some reason, if you've lost your items, you can reclaim them here. So as a quick note, everyone needs to craft a claim flag, even Trailblazers. So if we take a look at the requirements of a claim flag, oops, we want to go over not to the basic forge, we want to go over here to this guy. And if we click on claim flag, we can see the requirements here. We're going to need 7 elemental iron, 10 aquamarine, and 10 heartwood. Before we can harvest iron, we're going to need a copper pickaxe. Now for those of you who are Trailblazers, we already can with our founder's pickaxe. But for those of you who are brand new to closed beta, and you don't have that founder's pickaxe, you're going to need to craft up a copper pick. If we take a look at the requirements real quick, we need 10 copper ingots, 10 elemental iron, 20 agate, and 15 heartwood. And to quickly show you the requirements of making ingots, just about any ingot, you need 100 copper to make 1 ingot. So if we come back here, and if my math is correct, you're going to need about 1,000 copper, which really doesn't take that long. Now what I like doing is coming over to a desert or forest or even jungle biome, hitting the map, M key, and I'll just turn off these permissions and claims so it doesn't clutter the map real quick. But as you can see, the gems and stuff like that, all these minerals really just sort of stand out. It's really easy to see. And unfortunately with the old forest and tundra biomes, with all that snow, you can't, it just covers up the ground and you can't find these minerals very easily. So what I highly recommend before you even find a map you want or a zone you want to place a claim in is to run over to a desert or a jungle biome so you can find all this material pretty easily. Okay, and for those of you who are brand new to the game, the Portal Spire allows you to quickly jump around to other zones within your server, but also jump around to different servers. It also shows where you have your claim. So you can see I've got a claim here on the adventure server. And if we scroll through here, I've got a claim over on the tunnel map. This is how you can quickly find the desert biomes and the jungle biomes to find these minerals and ores pretty quickly. And with that said, let's take a look at the textures for each one of these minerals so you guys can find them pretty easily. And the first thing you're going to want to look for is copper. And this is the texture for that. Also, if you dig all the way down to the end of the copper vein, you'll also find tin 9 times out of 10. And that texture looks like this. And for the copper pick, we'll also need the agate, and this is the texture for that. And as far as heartwood goes, we're going to need to chop down some trees for that. Basically, any tier 1 tree will do. It's a little bit tough to find these in the desert biomes. I'd recommend going to the old forest, tundra, or jungle biomes to find this stuff. But any tier 1 tree, start chopping this guy down. And you can see over here in my loot table, for this particular tree, we're getting striped wood logs. Normally you'd get burled wood logs. But as you can see, that green item there, heartwood, is a random drop, but you are guaranteed to get a heartwood, at least 1 heartwood, when you're done chopping down the tree. And there it is. Now that we've crafted a copper pickaxe, the next thing you want to do is come over to the accessories on the basic workshop and craft up a keen-eyed band. And for that you're going to need 10 copper ingots, 10 elemental copper, and 100 stone. And the reason you want to do that, if we take a look at the description, it'll be a little bit easier to read on my character here. It gives you 1.2 discovery. And this small blue band has a small image of an eye etched into it. The wearer has a chance to find additional rare resources while harvesting. So before, when we were harvesting that heartwood, we'd have more of a chance of that heartwood dropping. And the same goes for things like elemental copper, elemental tin, stuff like that. So crafting one of these and equipping it increases our chances of finding those rare resources. Alright, next up is the tin axe. Let's take a look at the requirements you're going to need for that. You're going to need 5 copper ingots, 5 elemental copper, 5 tin ingots, 5 elemental tin, 20 tourmaline, and 20 heartwood. Now before, we were harvesting that tree, we got the heartwood random drop, and it's the same thing with any of these minerals and gems. When you're harvesting copper, you have a chance of getting elemental copper. Instead of being green down here in the loot window, it'll have a blue text to it. And running through actually just about 1, maybe 2 veins, you should be able to find elemental copper fairly easily, as well as elemental tin. But really quick, here is the tin texture. Tin has a chance of spawning on the surface, but as I said earlier, 9 times out of 10 you'll find that at the bottom of a copper vein. And here's the tourmaline texture. It can be a little difficult to spot sometimes. I definitely recommend looking for this type of stuff in the desert biomes. So now that you've crafted a copper pick and a tin axe, let's run over here and take a look at the claim flag requirements. You're going to need 7 elemental iron, 10 aquamarine, and 10 heartwood. So the reason we crafted up the copper pick is to get at this iron. We can't get at the iron until we've crafted the copper pick. So real quick, here's the iron texture you'll be looking for. Pretty much a dark blue. Pretty easy to spot. And here's the aquamarine texture. Now that you've crafted a claim flag, you're ready to go and find an island of your choosing using the portal spire, or if you're lucky and logged into a map you're happy with. You're ready to go ahead and place your claim flag, but what I highly recommend before you guys do that, since all this stuff is tier 1, is to craft a couple of these portal shards. These guys will teleport you to your claim and also to the spire. The only thing you need for that is 5 copper ingots, 1 elemental copper, and 3 tourmaline. So the requirements are pretty low for this, and I definitely recommend crafting up quite a few of these. The tourmaline will probably take the longest to find, but the copper stuff is really easy. And the reason I recommend doing that is once you've found your claim, you're going to want to jump back to the spire to travel back to a tier 1 map if you aren't already on one already. Alright, now that you've crafted up a claim flag, it's time to place that sucker down in your perfect spot. But if we quickly take a look at the map, I'll just show you guys, you can check out other people's claims by these yellow boxes here and blue boxes. But what's also cool, if we zoom out, they turn into flags, so we can just quickly at a glance see where everybody is. But then if we come up here and do show claimable land, everything turns red. All claimable spots turn red. So now you can see the spots clearly where you can claim and where you can't. And that was a fairly recent addition they made in Alpha. And I did a video on that earlier, but you can feel free to check that out. Not only have they made making a claim a little bit easier, they've also added this new UI feature here for these claim spots. You can give a thumbs up for a claim that you like. Let's move this out of the way. And eventually we'll be able to provide feedback. And then this looks like some sort of like overall rating system here. It looks like he's got 34 likes. That's pretty cool. Now that you've placed your claim, what you want to do is either use the portal stone that we made earlier and head on back to the spire, because the next thing we want to do is we want to be able to make a stone forge. And the main reason we want to do that is so we can start smelting the iron ingots and then continue with our progression. So if we head over to the basic workshop, we can check out the crafting stations and then check out the requirements for a stone forge. For a stone forge, you're going to need 15 copper ingots, 15 elemental copper, you're going to need 50 coal, and 2,100 piles of work stone. And don't let that number scare you too much. 2,100 stone is really not that bad. But this is new. In Alpha, we didn't need these two items to build this stuff. So let's quickly take a look at how we make coal. If we head back over to the basic forge over here, and we just scroll down to crafting component and click on coal, you can see we need plain wood logs. So 10 plain wood logs will yield 10 coal. So let's just craft up a couple of those. And there we go, we just received 40 coal, spending 40 plain wood logs. Now you can find coal by mining dirt and stone, but that tends to take quite a while because it's a random thing, just like heartwood or elemental copper and tin, things like that. And then to make the piles of work stone, you need 100 stone will yield 105 piles of work stone. So you get a little bit of bonus here. It does yield quite a bit more. Now once you got that, go head back to the crafting station and craft up the stone forge. And once you've got your stone forge, head on back to your claim and plop it down. And then you can begin to start smelting things like iron and silver and stuff like that. And you can also start building the building tools. I mean, we already can do the heal, delete, and add with this station. But with the stone forge, you're going to be able to do things like the smooth tool and the selection tool. Both of which are vital to crafting some cool stuff in your claims. Alright, now that I've got a stone forge, I'm going to quickly jump back to my claim here. So I've crafted up a couple portal shards. I'm going to go ahead and port back. And of course you can see here, now we get the choice between the portal spire and my claim. Alright, now that we're back at our claim, I plopped down quickly my stone forge, and I've already gone ahead and crafted an alchemy station. But I want to show you something pretty vital right now because they've introduced the concept of upkeep. For those of you who were in the alpha, we didn't have this before, but they finally implemented this. So if we go ahead and hit U and show our claim management UI, down here at the bottom we've got the upkeep management. If we click on this now, you can see upkeep is prepaid for 3 days and 20 hours. All claims will expire on 3/31/14. So what you need to do is mine up some copper ore. And basically for 300 copper will give you 24 hours of upkeep with a maximum of prepaid 5 days of real time. So as I mentioned, this claim upkeep stuff is new. And there's a lot of contention on the boards right now that 5 days is pretty short. And I can understand that totally. But Terry Michaels has mentioned that right now it's set to be pretty aggressive and they'll be fine-tuning it as closed beta progresses. And if we quickly take a look here at the stone forge stuff that we can build, we can go ahead and go all the way up to mithril picks. Next up will be the iron pick. Even if you do have a founder's pickaxe, you're going to want to go ahead and craft an iron pick next, followed by tungsten, cobalt, and then mithril. New stuff they've added is a sickle. You can harvest plants now. And you'll need 12 silver ingots, 12 elemental silver, aquamarine, and 20 sundrop heartwood. What's also new is the pulverizers, mechanized pulverizer and the powered pulverizer. And this stuff looks like all tier 2 stuff. Elemental silver, iron, aquamarine, topaz, and wild heartwood. All the way up to a powered pulverizer. The requirements are tungsten ingot, elemental tungsten, gold ingots, elemental gold, sundrop heartwood, emeralds, and amethyst. And these pulverizers will chew through rock and stone and dirt pretty easily, but you don't get any of the materials from that, so it's just a nice way to quickly dig huge holes in the ground and eventually, when they put these minerals underground, get to them a lot easier. As you can also see with the stone forge, we can go ahead and craft the rest of our building tools, the smooth tool, line tool, paint tool, and selection tool. What's also new is the refining station. You can make a superior smelter. It's a tier 3 metal refiner that mass produces ingots and alloys at 110% efficiency. And if any of you have played Minecraft, you might be familiar with this concept. Basically, these smelters in Minecraft, you would put in one ore and it would more often than not give you 2 ingots in return. And this looks like the same concept. So you can start as tier 3, tier 4, and all the way up to tier 5, providing 130% efficiency. And if you guys checked out the rest of Dave Georgeson's post on this quick guide, he highly recommends building an alchemy station, followed by an iron pick and then a silver axe. The reason you want to build an alchemy station is not just for the dynamite, which I have yet to try out, but I can't wait to. You can also build these refining stations, which is the same concept as these smelters, going all the way up to 130% efficiency, but these do plant refining. What's also nice is the refined wood. So wild heartwood, sundrop heartwood, vital heartwood, frosted, all the way up to serpentine heartwood. You'll need this heartwood to craft the iron pick. And to craft that stuff, if we take a look at the requirements, you're going to need palm heart and heartwood. Heartwood is the tier 1 stuff we harvested earlier. Palm wood you can find from these trees such as these. And I found most of those over in desert and jungle biomes. Alright folks, that'll about do it for this episode. I just wanted to quickly go over the new changes here to the beginning of the progression for those of you who are brand new to Landmark. As always folks, if you enjoy the content, feel free to subscribe, and if you've got a question, feel free to leave one for me in the comments section below. I'm also going to leave a ton of links for you guys in the video description. I'll leave a link to Dave Jorgenson's post, as well as some other forum posts with a ton of extra tutorials. Until next time guys, take care.